Welcome to SSPTV Community News. I'm Lisa Sugart. I'm very pleased to be joined by our dear friend Charles McElwee. He is the editor of Real Clear Pennsylvania, and you also know him as a political analyst right here on SSPTV. And that's the reason we are here today on the Sam Lassand Show, as they're getting ready to do a taping of a special Sam Lassand Show that will be airing right before the election so that you can hear about the important races, but we're going to kind of give you a condensed version of that. So Charles, we're going to talk about some of the big races. I know it's not a presidential year, so a lot of people tune out, but this is really an important election. We have school board seats up for grabs. We have a district justice seat up for grabs. We have Hazleton City Council and a mayoral race. We have so many important local races, and these are the people that really make a difference in our lives.
You're right, Lisa. These are the races that actually matter. So every day we're on social media. Politics has become a recreational activity among people when it comes to just small talk these days. It's no longer the weather, it's politics, and it's driven by the temperature at the national level. But all those concerns that we have, that we're hearing about and fighting about every day, that we see on TV, on cable news, all those issues discussed, really at the end of the day, the issues that matter are what goes on at the hyper-local level. The races on primary day, they determine the future of our lives. They are the office holders, the local leaders who determine how the future of the area will look. So at a time when there is a crisis of leadership at all levels and all institutions that is driving so much anger and so much tension-filled discourse, the local leadership is the most important component to our everyday lives.
Absolutely. And one of the races that involves the most voters from our area, throughout the greater Hazleton area, is that for the race of Hazleton Area School Board. Now, there are 5 seats that are 4-year terms that are up for grabs, and 1 seat that is a 2-year term. So right now we have 4 incumbents that are running for re-election again. Tony Bonomo, Ellen McBride, the president of the school board, also Jackie Scarcella, and Joe Zeller Jr., all on the board right now. Then 3 former principals are running. We have Joe Barletta, who used to be the principal at Freeland Elementary Middle School. We also have Carol Makuta, who was the principal at Tamaqua High School, and she's running for a 2-year seat. And then Jimmy Chapman, who used to be on the board, and he's a former principal over at the McAdoo School. So then we also have some names from the past coming back again. Carmela Yankiewicz, who was on the board for many years previously, she's running again, as is Dr. Childs, who is known in this area, and his wife, Ivalise Childs, is running for her very first time, and 3 other candidates running: Pete Bard, Tara Ferreras, who is seeking a 2-year seat, and Daniel Jorge, who is also running. And then we must say, too, that Bonomo and Scarcella are both filed for the 2-year and the 4-year seat. So it's a complex,
wow.
It's a complex, if everybody could
it's
understand
like a pop quiz.
that.
Yeah.
So the best thing is to do your homework. And
right.
I must say that the Hazleton Standard Speaker has been doing, our media partner, they've been doing a great job with asking questions and putting in where the candidates stand on a lot of the issues. So Charles, now when we look at school board, there's some interesting things. One of the biggest problems, you've been talking about it for a long time, is where are we putting all the people that are moving to this area? Not only do we talked about housing in the past before, but where are they going to get a seat in a classroom in the Hazleton Area School District? Because it's exploding.
It's a crisis,
yeah.
And it's one that isn't going away anytime soon. And there are so many layers to even history here. I mean, it makes you think back to the 60s. You know, was it the original sin? The jointure debate of the school district at the time. And my grandfather, Tess McElwee, was a school director at that time. He voted against jointure. He said this will be a terrible outcome for the area. That prediction proved well when you look at how everything is playing out now. So you have a population explosion, you have dramatic demographic change, you have local leaders, school board candidates who have to respond to this growth. And have we been here before? Yes, but a very, very long time ago, before World War I. So at that time, there was a state report that talked about how Hazleton was this cosmopolitan city with local school leadership, that they were building a half-dozen schools at that point, schools throughout the area to accommodate that growth. But it's a whole different story now, and there's so many more complex issues. But Yeah, I mean, they have to deal with the growth. They have to deal with just, again, we talk about the national debates, including what goes on in education, but the focus has to be how to deliver quality education to students in this rapidly changing area. I mean, there was one ESL teacher in the Hazleton Area School District in the 1990s.
Yeah.
That was only 25, 30 years ago. And look at the area now, so you have to accommodate and respond to that demographic transformation to ensure that the children in this area have a quality education and can excel in the future. It begins in those schools.
And even if they come up with the perfect plan, it's the fact of where do they get the money for the perfect plan? So that's an even bigger factor is the cost of education, the cost of the buildings. You know, they've gone with more buildings now that they're going to be opening up, and they've even taken space. We are located in the Laurel Mall, and the school district has even taken space in the Laurel Mall. That's how things have gotten, you know, so they've grown so much that they've had to expand everywhere. So whoever is on this board has some major decisions to make. Now, one idea that is under consideration by the Hazleton Area School District is a newcomer center. This would be based on a project that operates in the Allentown School District.
What choice does the district have at this point?
I know.
So when you look at the composition of the district, one of the largest in Pennsylvania, by the way, you have students, right, that are coming oftentimes from the Dominican Republic. Their frame of reference it's new to this country, or perhaps they were born in Metro New York. Their parents may still be in the metro area, they may be in New York, and they're staying with relatives here in the city. You have students who need to improve their proficiency in English. This type of proposal is the type of assimilative process that would be what would have been carried out in the past. So this is a practical solution to the demographic transformation of the area. I mean, the city of Hazleton itself is 65% Hispanic majority, and that will increase. So it just makes sense.
Now focusing on the all-important race for district magistrate, and that is for District 11-3-03, includes Black Creek, Butler, Foster, and Sugarloaf Townships, and also the boroughs of Cunningham and Freeland. I'm with Charles McElwee, our dear friend who is the editor of Real Clear Pennsylvania, and also our political analyst here on SSPTV. Charles, we have incumbent Danny O'Donnell, who is seeking a fourth term in this seat. We also have a police officer in Butler Township, Tony Martini, who is running. Also, Lorien O'Gurkis, who is an attorney and one of the co-founders of Brandon's Forever Home, and Wister Uhas, who decided not to run for re-election on the school board because he was running for this seat for district magistrate, and also he's in the security business. So these are four people going for this seat, four people that are pretty well known in the community. So this is going to be interesting.
Right, an interesting race, very heated. I mean, we see the signs everywhere. And it's a very consequential seat because it's a position that has to deal with a lot of complex and wide-ranging issues, and that will become ever more complex with the ongoing transformation of the area, including in the areas that the magistrate covers, whether that's Freeland or Sugarloaf Township. So they have to deal with so many scenarios, the unforeseen consequences of when you confront rapid change. And one of those unforeseen consequences could be complex new issues related to law enforcement and crime. So all those headwinds that we talk about really at the state, even national level, including issues about illegal drugs, etc., that plays out at the hyper-local level. And oftentimes you're appearing before the district magistrate when dealing with those issues of crime. So hugely important position.
We often take for granted that, you know, the work gets done. We don't always pay attention, have our ear to the ground on what that district magistrate is doing. They're doing a lot.
It's a lot. It's a heavy
in
duty
this day and
job.
age, like you said, there is just a heavy duty job to want to have that position. It's amazing that four people from our area are looking to do it. They cross file, so we'll see how this plays out. I think it's going to be one of the interesting races, that and that of school board that we just talked about. Another big race coming up is that for Hazleton Mayor. Hazleton Mayor Jeff Cassatt, who is seeking his third term. He's the Republican candidate, no challengers on on the Republican side. But on the Democratic side, we have Bob Yavok, a businessman from the city. He ran 4 years ago, so he's running again. And Democrat Vianney Castro is running also as a Democrat. So there's a race between those two on the Democratic side. And then independent Cindy DeLuca is expected to get into that race. Independents can file up till August 1st. They're obviously not on the primary ballot because we are a closed primary in Pennsylvania, and we only vote for, you're straight Republican, straight Democrat when you go into the election. We don't vote for the independents in the primary. So this is going to be an interesting race.
Cassat has the power of incumbency as mayor, and he has presided over City Hall during a period of turbulence, including fiscal turbulence related to Act 47, but also has made efforts to improve the infrastructure of Hazleton, whether it's roads or creating more recreational activities with city parks, etc. But it will be interesting to see long-term, Lisa. I mean, the day will come where you will see this trend. I mean, Hispanic candidates in the city of Hazleton, in the majority-minority city, that will increase. And if you look back to time, it was Jimmy Costello in 1937. He was the first Catholic mayor of Hazleton, Irish guy, elected years and years after Catholic immigration came to the city. And then it was Tom Caparel in the mid-50s, first Italian mayor of Hazleton. But the point is they were descended from immigrants who came here a generation or two before. So a generation or even sooner from now, I would say in the coming years, we will begin to see a Hispanic city hall.
Well, and lastly, we're running short on time. For Hazleton City Council, Allison Barletta and Jack Mundy not running for re-election. Their 2 seats up for grabs. So we have 2 Republicans, John Nilles and Tommy Bruno, running on the Republican side, and then Carlos Monclis and Nicarol Soto running on the Democratic side. So there's no race really in the primary. There is an independent, Scott Cahalan, who is running as an independent, or expected to run as an independent, who he also ran before. So the big race will come in November for that.
That's right. And the city, whoever prevails in these races, city council, the mayor, and the school district, the school board, they all have to respond to the economic transformation of this area wrought by warehousing. 25 million square feet proposed just in the years ahead. It's changing everything in this area. Are these leaders prepared? The short answer is no. And how could they be when you consider what is going on? But it's a reminder to voters that local leadership is everything.